In The Witcher 3 you'll find 3 secret ability points which have been cunningly hidden in 2 unique, single-use consumable items. The first of these is the Magic Acorn, which grants 2 ability points when consumed. The Magic Acorn can only be found late in the main storyline, during the main quest named Bald Mountain. At the start of the quest, you'll be taken to a signpost labelled Road to Bald Mountain, which is found on the southern border of the Velen map. As you'll come to learn, this region is home to the reviled Ladies of the Wood, aka the Crones of Crookback Bog, a location where the 3 Witchers hold their yearly Sabbath celebrations. During the quest, you'll meet with the Crones in battle, and only by defeating them can you climb to the summit of the mountain, where you'll face off with a powerful NL elf named Imlerith. Imlerith is a general of the Wild Hunt who killed Vesemir for protecting Ciri during the Battle of Kaer Morhen, and obviously appreciates succubi almost as much as Geralt. As intimidating as Imlerith looks, during combat he proves to be slow, cumbersome and easy to hit. Simply circle to the left and dodge his attacks to flank him and create openings for counters. If you're having problems timing the dodge to avoid his attacks, then equipping the combat skill Fleet-Footed at level 5 will grant complete immunity to all attack damage during the dodge animation. You'll also want to apply Elementor oil to your silver sword for additional damage, as well as regular use of Quen for when you're caught off guard. You can also dispel his coat of frost armor using Igni, which activates every time he teleports, providing him additional protection when active. At around 20% health, Imlerith abandons his shield to focus on all-out two-handed aggression. Simply keep dodging until he gets his huge hammer stuck in the ground. Then quickly dish out a couple of fast attacks whilst he's vulnerable and dodge away to avoid retaliation. Rinse and repeat until you're rewarded with a satisfyingly gory fatality.
Now to find Eredin and kill him. Anorin, for your thoughts?
Wondering what to tell Yennefer when we get to Novigrad.
Tell her the truth. Always. I wonder if Triss and Yennefer have found the sorceresses at the lodge. We ought to rejoin them.
Give me a minute. I'm old. Need more rest.
You are, and you do.
During the cutscene with Ciri, choose the option to remain at Bald Mountain to rest. Then head back up to the northeast where you'll find Imlerith's decapitated corpse, which when looted, rewards you with the Magic Acorn. You can find the Magic Acorn under the food and drink section of your inventory. Unfortunately, dropping one of these does not get you bang off your face. Instead, it will grant 2 additional ability points upon consumption. The second item, which is called the Golden Egg, will grant you a single ability point when consumed. The Golden Egg is exclusive to the Blood and Wine expansion, and can only be acquired late in the story during the main quest named Beyond Hill and Dale. To begin this quest, you first need to make specific choices during the previous quest named the Night of Long Fangs. During this quest, you need to follow Regis's advice to find Syanna rather than seeking an audience with the Unseen Elder. Eventually, this leads you to the palace playroom where you find the notes of Isabelle de Roquefort, who was Anna's and Syanna's governess when they were children. An interesting entry states the girls took Isabelle to a magical land of illusions, called the Land of 1,000 Fables, which was created for the girls to play in by Artorius Vigo, the court mage who specialised in illusions. To enter this enchanted land, also known as the Fablesphere, one must open a book called The Land of 1,000 Fables, and say out loud an incantation.
Today I accompanied the girls for the first time to the Land of 1,000 Fables. We spent half the day there. First we played with Thumbelina, then with Barbarossa, who proved quite the charmer for a brigand and pirate.
I'm beginning to suspect Isabelle de Roquefort wrote in her diary after taking a powerful hallucinogenic. Cannabis rudelaris, for instance, or...
Shh, don't interrupt. I tip my cap to Master Artorius Vigo for his achievement. He has proved he has no equal in the arcane arts.
Wait, Artorius was the court mage here, a specialist in illusions, which means...
Regis, last warning. Stop interrupting or I'll seat you in the corner. The girls told me if I ever wish to visit alone, I need but crack open the Land of 1,000 Fables and utter out loud the incantation, Expecto Ludum.
A book as the key to an illusion. My, this grows more interesting by the minute.
Realize this might sound improbable, but maybe, just maybe, Anna Henrietta tossed Sienna into that illusion.
Not impossible. She would be safe there, and isolated. We must see.
Using your Witcher sensors, examine the painting on the wall at the top of the stairs, which reveals a hidden golden key. Use this key to open the locked ornate cupboard on the other side of the room, which houses the magical book in question.
This it? Let's see. Expecto Ludum. Incredible.
After being teleported to the girl's childhood land of fairy tale wonders, the eye of Nehelene shimmers wildly, indicating this entire world is a powerful, unbreakable illusion. Reading the nearby signpost, written by Uncle Artorius, warns the spell holding the entire Fablesphere illusion together will not be maintained from 1252, which is now 23 years ago. Without maintenance, magical entropy began to set in, and over time, some of the illusions began to take on a more dark and twisted tone. Continue along the winding path leading you deeper into the vibrant forest, with giant toadstools and strange fauna. Eventually you'll notice Sienna outside a cottage, ordering a long-nosed wicked witch to release someone she's locked inside her large baking oven.
Now, who's this? A lost traveller? You're not supposed to be here, sweetie. Why, you're old and pale. But never worry. A bit of butter, a bit of spice, and you'll make a tasty morsel. Just as soon as I catch you.
When the Wicked Witch attacks, she takes to her broomstick, flying around the area while summoning archospores from her bubbling cauldron. During her flight, she's completely impervious to attacks, due to her protective magical shield. So focus all your attacks on the archospore until it dies. Once her summoned plant life has been cut down, she'll resort to swooping down and releasing harmful liquid from her cauldron. When she initiates this dive bomb attack, you'll notice her shield briefly disappear. This is when she becomes vulnerable to a blast of Ard, knocking her off her ride and bringing her warty face crashing to the ground. Before kicking the witch's ass, you first want to lock on to her broomstick and destroy it as a priority. Remember, pushing on the right stick will change targets. Removing her broomstick from the equation will result in a far more manageable fight, as the witch will no longer be able to fly, enable her protective shield, or summon additional monsters.
You've won.
After the witch is subdued, Sienna frees a boy named Jack, of Beanstalk fame, from the witch's locked hearth. Jack reveals he was ordered by Anna, Sienna's sister, to hide 3 magic beans across this land, red, blue and yellow, so Sienna could never leave. Only once these beans have been found can you climb the giant beanstalk to reach the clouds in the sky, the only way to escape this fabled land. Continue your journey following the path leading out of the Toadstool Forest, where you'll be met with a stunning fairy tale vista and unicorns so tame that you can use them as mounts. After dealing with a pack of wolves and speaking with a boy named Joss, who likes to cry wolf from atop a tree stump, take the path heading north to a snow-covered village, where you'll come across an unread notice board. Interact with the board to find a contract written by Balbina the Goose, which is related to the golden egg in question. Take the quest and track its objective, then speak with the little Flint girl nearby, who happens to be in possession of Sienna's lost ribbon of sentimental value.
Hey, where'd you get that ribbon? That's mine.
Is that so? Then why was it lying in the bushes? Finders keepers, sweetheart.
Mind explaining what the fuss is about?
There's not much to explain. I got it from Aturius Vigo when I was a child. It was to protect me from evil. It clearly didn't work, given how I ended up.
But it means a lot to you.
How should I put this? I have so few mementos from my childhood, and the ribbon reminds me of the good old days, when I was someone else.
You can retrieve this ribbon for Sienna by either winning a game of Gwent or coughing up 500 crowns, which turns out to be an important story-related decision. Head to the objective marker on your map, which leads you to the modest dwelling of Balbina's home. Examining the broken feathers just outside the front door indicates a struggle, and reveals a trail of footprints and more feathers which lead south into the wooded hills. Following the trail further up the hill, you'll encounter a bandits camp, where two dwarves and their leader, Redbeard, have caged the poor goose in distress. After dishing out the hurt for cruelty to geese, search Redbeard's body for the cage key, allowing you to free Balbina once and for all. For all your troubles, she lays you a very hard-boiled golden egg.
Good thing you posted that notice. Never would have found you otherwise.
Oh look, she laid a golden egg for you.
If only all my employers were that generous. Would have preferred a magic bean, but not about to complain.
Just like the Magic Acorn, you'll find the golden egg in the food and drink section of your inventory, and when consumed will grant a single ability point. The only way to leave the Fablesphere is by first finding the 3 magic beans. The yellow one is found in Longlock's bedroom, and the problem is her bedroom is located at the very top of the tall tower situated in the middle of the map. Approaching the tower, Sienna looks to the top window and wonders aloud where Longlocks could be. As a child, she would grapple up her long braid of hair, which is now nowhere to be seen. Instead, the tower, which has now fallen into a state of disrepair, must be scaled the old-fashioned way, via its now crumbling stairs. Reaching the bedroom at the top of the tower, it becomes apparent the girl with the long braid has hanged herself using her own hair, cursed to become a banshee. Defeating Longlocks is a simple affair as long as you consistently use dodge to avoid both her melee attacks and loud screams, and perform 2 fast sword attacks during openings before dodging away to avoid counters. When she summons her minions, use the fast attack whirl ability to slay them all quickly, minimising the time Longlocks can regenerate her health during this time. Use Spectre Oil for additional damage and Quen for extra defense. Rinse and repeat until she evaporates into a cloud of pixie dust. Luckily, descending the tower is far quicker than climbing it. After procuring the yellow magical bean, which is found on a pillow on Longlock's bed, step out onto the balcony and dive into the lake below.
So?
Got the bean, but Longlocks. Seems she got sick of waiting for a knight in shining armor.
Highlighting the objective to go see the 3 little pigs leads you to the northwest side of the map, where you'll find the dwellings of 3 porcine inhabitants. 2 of the houses, one evidently made from straw and another from wood, have been completely decimated, possibly by huffing and puffing. Only the house made from brick remains standing, albeit in a weakened state.
Oh, the 3 little pigs' homes. You know the story, don't you? Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
Looks like Big Bad's already blown down the houses of straw and sticks. Brick's the only one left.
Casting Ard will bring the brick structure crashing down, and out pop 3 enraged pigs, which must be slain like regular wild boars. After securing some gammon steaks for dinner, search the brick remains to find the blue magic bean on an ornate wooden stand.
The Big Bad Witcher huffed and puffed, and look, got a bean.
It cannot be.
What cannot be?
You actually have a sense of humor.
To the east of the central tower, you'll find a glowing will-o'-the-wisp hovering over a small pond. Following the wisp will lead you to the corpse of a knight-errant, where you can loot the heavy Toussaint armor set of relic class.
Knight's strange. Doesn't look like he's out of any fairy tale I know. Wonder how he got here.
In past times, Henrietta and I would occasionally run into them here. You see, knights errant far outnumber princesses in the real world, so some knights would sneak into the playroom, then into this land, in search of their fairy tale damsels. That's all.
Only to be shredded to bits by a swarm of pixies. Irony's delicious.
The set offers significant armor and resistance ratings, as well as adding a whopping 1800 points to vitality when all 4 armor pieces are equipped. You can also loot the Vitis Steel Sword from the Fallen Knight, another relic which offers a significant 20% sign intensity boost to all 5 signs, the perfect companion for sign-focused builds. This armor set and steel sword can only be found in the Fablesphere illusion, so be sure to pick them up before leaving, as returning will not be possible. It's also worth noting the gear will scale to Geralt's level upon pickup. Highlighting the objective to visit Grandma's house leads you past the Goose House and up the hill to the east. At the top, you'll come across a gated house with a well in the courtyard. Just outside the front door of the main dwelling, you'll see the big bad wolf, sleeping off the effects of a night's drinking with Redbeard. The wolf hints he knows the whereabouts of the final red bean, but before he reveals, he wants to first reenact his fairy tale one last time. The only problem being he's murdered Little Red Riding Hood, as payback for the countless times his gut was cut open by the hunter, filled with heavy stones, then drowned at the bottom of the well. Both Little Red Riding Hood and the hunter are decomposing at the bottom of the nearby well. Sienna decides the only way to fulfill the wolf's wish is by retrieving Little Red's hood, so she can dress up and play the part for the wolf, allowing him to play his role one last time.
Any luck?
Yep, look what I got.
That would never fit you. Give it to me. How do I look?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Let's go see the big bad wolf.
Let me guess. You'll play the granddaughter.
And you, the hunter.
This eventually leads to combat with the wolf, who is susceptible to cursed oil and igni.
And Grandmama, what big teeth you have. Remember what Joss said about the red bean. A human has it, and he definitely didn't swallow it.
Gotta open his belly. Bottle caps, fake teeth, a corkscrew. Ah, here it is. Red bean.
Well then, one step closer to our goal.
Once all 3 magic beans are in your possession, head to the new objective marker on your map, which takes you to the planting field where the giant beanstalk can be summoned. Use your Witcher sensors to inspect the investigation area, and find the correct spot to plant the 3 beans.
Wait!
Why?
The stalk will sprout abruptly. Very abruptly. We must be careful. All right, toss them!
Something's always gotta go wrong.
The home stretch.
incredible.
Admire the view later. First, we must deal with...
After reaching the top of the beanstalk, above the clouds and well above the Fablesphere, you'll encounter the Cloud Giant, who must be defeated before entry into his castle is granted, where the only exit out of this world exists. To defeat the giant, you'll first want to apply Ogroid oil to your blade, then be sure to keep your distance. Use roll to avoid his far-reaching whirlwind attack, and when you see him jump into the air and disappear into the floor of clouds, look to the ground and prepare for a surprise attack. As soon as he appears, dodge or roll to the side to avoid his giant overhead slam. Then quickly counter with 4 to 5 fast attacks whilst he's vulnerable, before rolling out of range to repeat the tactic. You can also lure him towards any of the 3 heaps of electrified metal. If he strikes one of these by accident, or is close by when one is struck by lightning, it'll temporarily stun him, allowing you to deal several more blows with impunity. Once the oversized fool drops dead, make sure to shag Siana and let her have a dirty way with you. Because, well, why not?
Oh, don't just stand there and stare. I need a man, Geralt, and I'm not afraid to say it. I have no idea what awaits me once we leave this place. Treat it as my last wish.
Once Siana has been fulfilled, head for the drawbridge leading into the castle courtyard, where the portcullis is now open, granting access back to Beauclair. Before leaving, make sure to grab a powerful relic silver sword, which can only be found in this area. Follow the Will-o'-the-Wisp up the drawbridge and drop down to the left just before entering the castle grounds. Follow the path under the drawbridge and across a rickety wooden bridge leading into a cave. Inside the cave, you'll find a bonfire which can be lit. No doubt a respectful nod toward From Software's Dark Souls. After lighting the bonfire, you'll acquire the G-Shaft, a relic silver sword which scales to Geralt's level upon pickup. This is the perfect match for the Vitis steel sword you hopefully looted from the Fallen Knight previously mentioned, both increasing sign intensity by 20% for all 5 signs when equipped, ideal for sign-focused builds. Now you can climb back up to the drawbridge, enter the castle, and jump down the well in the courtyard to exit this trippy world.